Careful planning is required before implementing a VPN solution to make sure that the VPN solution addresses the business needs. Let's start by talking about pptp. This is the point-to-point tunneling protocol. Now, although this was a widely used VPN solution, it's not considered secure. There are some known flaws with pptp. pptp uses TCP port 1723 and IP protocol 47. This is important when it comes to allowing pptp traffic through a firewall if you're going to configure a pptp VPN. Point-to-point tunneling protocol uses the generic routing encapsulation, otherwise called GRE, for tunnel establishment. This is used, in other words, to create a point-to-point VPN connection. Another VPN type is L2TP with IPsec. L2TP stands for Layer 2 Tunneling Protocol, where Layer 2 really refers to Layer 2 of the OSI model, the data link layer. L2TP with IPsec uses a number of ports that need to be opened in the firewall, beginning with TCP 1701, UDP 500, and 4500, and it uses IP protocols 50 for encapsulating security payload or ESP, and IP protocol type 51 for authentication header or AH. With L2TP and IPsec, we can configure a pre-shared symmetric key on both ends of the connection, which is used for tunnel establishment, or we can use a PKI certificate, which is considered a much more secure solution than a pre-shared key. And depending on the specific vendor implementation, such as Microsoft's implementation of working with IPsec, we could also use other types of authentication methods, things like Kerberos, which is used by Active Directory. SSL or its successor TLS VPNs are becoming more and more popular. SSL stands for Secure Sockets Layer, and TLS, its successor, stands for Transport Layer Security. You'll often see SSL and TLS used interchangeably. However, understand that SSL has some security flaws, whereas TLS is considered to be secure. This type of VPN uses TCP port 443. Now, this is considered firewall friendly because, at least in an outbound direction from within a network, normally TCP 443 traffic is allowed out because it's used for secure web browser communications, in other words, HTTPS. In order to use an SSL or TLS VPN, PKI certificates are required where public and private keys are required. This is often used for a client-to-site VPN, so you won't see SSL or TLS VPNs used in site-to-site VPNs. Pictured on the screen, we have a basic diagram of a client-to-site VPN, where over on the left, we've got the client device with either a VPN client application installed or using a web browser, such as for an SSL VPN. Now, the user on the client device can authenticate in a number of different ways using username and password, or a PKI certificate, or smart card, or key fob, or a combination thereof. Now, over on the right, we've got the VPN concentrator that can handle multiple client VPN connections simultaneously. And after that tunnel has been established, that can be done using pptp, L2TP IPsec, or SSL or TLS. But after that's established, it's only because successful authentication will have occurred to establish the encrypted tunnel. And pictured in the bottom right of our diagram, that can be done ideally using a network access server. We don't want credentials checked for users directly on the VPN concentrator itself for security reasons, because it is considered an edge point device. Now, the network access server can also be called an AAA server or a radius server. They all really mean the same thing. It's another centralized authentication host outside of the VPN device. Site-to-site VPNs are used to link offices together, for example, over the internet or over a dedicated leased line. So on the left, we've got our Site A VPN device. On the right, our Site B VPN device. Notice we don't have VPN clients involved, at least not directly at this point. So our encrypted VPN tunnel then could use pptp or Layer 2 tunneling protocol in use with IPsec. So the clients at each site would then be able to connect to the other site by going through this VPN tunnel. It's simply a matter of IP routing from the client perspective in a site-to-site VPN scenario.